Hey folks, welcome to US Home Talk. We are the mortgage and real estate podcast that you should be listening to. We cover all topics across the US here. Anything dealing with real estate, anything dealing with mortgages. We talk about credit repair. We talk about a whole lot of stuff on this show. So feel free to join us, join our conversation. We have a real estate hotline that you can connect with us during the show. You can watch us live on Facebook, and you can submit comments and questions through the live feed there on Facebook. And then you can also reach out to us at any point during the week at ushometalk.com. That's where you can connect with us directly. You can ask us questions through the website. You can get links to all of our past shows, all that fun stuff there. So visit us at ushometalk.com, and we'll get on with our show topic here. So today, in studio with me, Jason Walgrave. He is with me in the real estate market up here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. We got Marcus Walgrave, South Dakota Home Team, powered by Hegg Realtors. He is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He joins the show with us every week as well. Jason is the Walgrave Real Estate Group at RE/MAX Advantage Plus, the Minnesota Real Estate Team. What else is on there? What else you got in the tagline?
Oh, man, I don't know. There's too many things in there I forget.
So the topic for today is the best 1-2 punch in real estate is ... right? So we've spoken a little bit about this in the past, but you know, if you read any sort of like financial deal, right, in any sort of financial market, there's always kind of like a way to win, right? So even if there's a down market, there's a way to win, right? And it doesn't matter what type of market you're talking about. So we're in no means in a down market, real estate market by any means. But what is like the best 1-2 punch in today's world? Okay, so I'm going to give an example of what I think the best 1-2 punch is here up in the Twin Cities area. And Marcus might have a completely different 1-2 punch in his area because he's in a slightly different part of the country here. And so I think each part of the country is going to have a different 1-2 punch that you can maximize, right? You can maximize the market that you're sitting in there. So to get the ball rolling here, I think the best 1-2 punch that we have up here in the Twin Cities market is selling a home under the $500,000 price point and buying into somewhere between like a $700,000 to $900,000 price point. And the reason why I say this is this, because $500,000 and less in our market that we're here in the Twin Cities area, Minnesota, you're going to maximize what you're going to make on that sale, right? There's going to be a ton of buyers looking at your home. You're probably going to get multiple offers on it. Very good chance you're going to sell it for over list price, right? You're just going to maximize on that sale. When you look at the $700,000 to $900,000 price point in our market, though, that market is not that hot. There are less people buying into that, right, into that price point bracket there, to where I feel like you can get a deal in that price point. So you're going to be selling in a price point that you're going to maximize and get the most out of your house, and you're going to be buying into where I think you can get a little bit of a deal. And that's why I think in the Twin Cities market here, that's the best 1-2 punch we have going on right now.
I think that's pretty accurate, Mike. I mean, it's interesting because they're, man, I've been involved in some multiple offer situations the last couple of weeks, and they were all, well, with the exception of one, they were in that $500 to $699 list price. You know, and it was, there's definitely some strategy behind that. Now one that was listed at $650, that one sold for north of $7. The one that was listed at $699 sold for way north of $7. But you're right. And if you're under 500,000 and it's a nice house in a good neighborhood and you got some amenities to it, that house is going to sell quick, you know, and so it gives you an opportunity to sell your home quickly, you know. And here's the other thing. You don't have to sell your house first in most cases. You don't have to sell your house first. And even if you don't qualify to own both homes, Luminate Bank, Mike Oberson and his team, they've got a program that allows us to go out, secure the other house first. And even if we don't have the current house sold by the time the closing happens, which most of the time we do, but you don't have to. We can close on the new house first and get moved in and get settled. And so a program like that is, you know, I mean, it can cost as little as $2,500. You know, and so there's options out there. I think, Mike, you're right. You know, I think when you're talking about 1-2 punches that don't work. It's, maybe if you're selling in that $800,000 to $900,000 range, and then you're going to buy in the $500,000 range, that might be tough, but your agent will be able to educate you on the market and market conditions on your property and the one that you want to buy. So, but I like it. I think that's a pretty accurate one too.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's similar, right? Maybe not specifically to the price range that you were noted, Mike, in the beginning, but we look at our market stats that we get every month through the association here in the Sioux Empire, and where we've seen, and this isn't just the 1 month, but this is kind of a trend that I've seen in the last 12 to 18 months here in the Sioux Falls area. That price range of 900,000 to $1 million, and then the $1 million to 1.5, and they just have an incredible jump of inventory. When I started in real estate here in the Sioux Falls area in 2014, there wasn't usually more than a couple properties that were a handful of properties that were going to be over $1 million on our market. And right now, there's 70, 80. So the
holy smokes, there's 70 up $1 million.
900,000 plus.
Wow.
Right now we have it's 70, 80, 90, 95 properties.
95.
Yeah, well, and that just wasn't that inventory wasn't there ever. And so, if to your point exactly, Jason, I mean, if you're selling a $900,000 house, you're going to have some competition for sure. And if you're buying down in the I'm looking on the stats. I mean, anything under 350 is just like that inventory plummeted. The inventory is quite a bit down for anything that's under 700,000. So that inventory is low. So if you're able to sell in that inventory and you're a move up buyer, which is usually the case, right? I mean, if you're downsizing, taking a hit on your sale isn't that big of a deal because the nature of where you're at in your life financially. It's more about a quality of life and finding a floor plan that you're going to be able to grow old in with that house. So there's more important things than top dollar at that stage of your life. But if you are able to sell and upgrade, move up, you got a great opportunity to get into a big house, a nice house. And we kind of, Mike, I always looked at this too, and I saw this. This is just a personal opinion, a trend that I thought I saw was in the Sioux Falls area. But, when you look at that max conventional loan, that buyer who says, okay, I got a really good job. My spouse has a really good job. We make good money. We got low debt. What is the largest, one mortgage amount loan can we take?
So
and go ahead.
Yeah, the standard conventional loan amount for this year then is $832,750.
Yeah. So and those that couple, right? They might be in that position too where they say, okay, well obviously PMI is going to be a bugger at a loan amount that high. So we plan on putting 20% down anyways. So now you're looking at it's like, God, that's like a 1.1 buy, 1.15 buy. And it seems like there was a good increase of builders saying, hey, we're going to build specs in that million to 1.1, 1.2 in the Sioux Falls market, and it really pushed that inventory up. So the pre-existing homes were they didn't necessarily have a lot of competition because there weren't any new construction specs in that price range. Now they got competition through the new construction, and the buyers feel like they can get a good deal. And then jumping down to the percent of original list price received, in those price ranges, the 900,000 plus, they're the ones who are getting the least amount on day of closing. They're selling it for the least amount of the original list price, so they're reducing, whether it's a sale price or concession, whatever it might be, the most out of all the price ranges that we have here in the Sioux Falls area.
What is it at? What's that number?
For properties that are $2 million above, they're at 94%. The 1.5 to 2 million is 94%. The million to 1.5 is 94%. The 900 to $1 million is 97.5. And then once you get like 900 and below, it's pretty much 99 plus.
So it's 94% above $1 million, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting stat.
Yeah, so they're taking, a seller on average is and that does not account for like new construction concessions. This is simply original list price to sold price. So a 5%, reduction in original list price on $1 million home, that's a nice chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing about our market up here is like, cause I said up here in the metro area of the Twin Cities, Minnesota market, I said that $700,000 to $900,000 price point. Well, it's like, Mike, why wouldn't it just be 700 plus, just 700 more? We have like that mid-tier bracket, that 7 to 9, maybe that 7 to $1 million-ish, somewhere in there, right? But it's like as soon as you get over $1 million, from what I'm hearing on the street, it's like those homes like are going in multiple offers. They're selling in a few days and going into multiple offers, right? When we have the 7 to 900 price point sitting around longer.
Yep.
And it's like, why is that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's kind of wild, right? But it's true. It's like you get to $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million, and those houses are selling in 3 to 4 days up here with multiple offers, for basically the list price, maybe even a little bit higher, just underneath, where that 7 to 9 again is sitting, and you see price reductions, and they're on the market longer and things like that.
20% down, conventional loan, one loan covers the whole purchase, right? Right about that 1.1.
That's right.
Yep. So
Legal minute?
it's interesting. Oh yeah, we got the legal minute. Yeah, we'll pause for the legal minute right now. We'll come back and we'll continue our discussion here on the best 1-2 punch in real estate.
This is Jeff O'Brien, attorney with Hush Blackwell, with the U.S. Home Talk Legal Minute. Have you ever wondered why you have to fill out a property disclosure statement when you sell your home? Of course, it is because the law requires you to do so. Subject to certain exceptions, Minnesota law requires a seller of residential real property to complete a written disclosure form to prospective buyers before signing a purchase agreement to sell the home. The seller must disclose all material facts of which the seller is aware of that could adversely and significantly affect an ordinary buyer's use and enjoyment of the property, or any intended use of the property of which the seller is aware. The disclosure must be made in good faith and be based upon the best of the seller's knowledge at the time of the disclosure. In addition, some cities have truth in housing requirements, which require a seller to have an inspection of the property by an authorized inspector prior to listing the property for sale. The inspection results must be made available to prospective buyers in the same manner as the disclosure statement. In order to find out what cities have these truth in housing obligations, contact your city offices or ask your realtor. This is Jeff O'Brien, attorney with Hush Blackwell, with the U.S. Home Talk Legal Minute.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Smart
Good
guy,
job.
that Jeff O'Brien.
He is a smart guy.
He's way smarter than I am.
Way smarter than me, too. Definitely smarter than Marcus.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Does that need to be stated?
I mean, we just want to, Jason's got a firm grasp for the obvious, and he just wants to show that to everyone. So,
Which then really questions who the smarter one is.
I love it. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, on 1-2 punches that you see out there? The downsizing thing, it's a little tough, because you're selling at a price point typically that might not have as many buyers, looking in that price point, and then you're moving down into a price point where you're going to have a heavy buyer competition.
Yeah.
I
think that the one thing I just want to mention again is that if you're a buyer out there, if you're a buyer / seller or seller / buyer, make sure you're talking to a mortgage professional like Mike Overson and Luminate Bank, someone that has options for you. I can't tell you how many sellers believe that they cannot buy a home until they sell the one that they're living in. And I mean, so many people think that, and it can, put you in a tough spot. It can make you feel like you're stuck. Like, well, Marcus, I know you're going to sell my house quick, so I can't list it because it's going to sell quick. And then I don't have anywhere to go. And so then I'm going to be, living in the van down by the river again. and it just doesn't, it's not fun. You got options. You do not have to, in most cases, you got to run through the deal, right? But in most cases, you work with Mike Overson and Luminate Bank. You do not have to sell your current house in order to buy the next one. That gives you all the options. Then we can go out shopping. We can find the one you want as long as that takes. We can move the closing date out a little bit further. That gives us more options. But just make sure you're working with the best in your market because it's important and you deserve it.
Yeah, I'd say that probably the other, kind of the concept of that 1-2 punch. It can be like from a single family home. You're selling a single family home, which has a higher demand in our market here in Sioux Falls, and you're going to buy a multifamily type of like a townhouse or a twin home. We saw a nice big increase in inventory there, a lot of inventory there. So, like that kind of situation. So it isn't necessarily only to like price range. I mean, they can be from the type of home, whether it's a single family home to a multi, that can be like a really good 1-2 punch, or even the time of year. Again, like you're using the loan products that Luminate Bank have over with Mike Overson. Maybe you can buy in a slow month like January and just crush it on the purchase and then sit on your sale and wait until May, when things are just, piping hot and take advantage of it that way. So there's definitely a lot of options for you. You just got to have the right team and come up with the right plan.
Yep. Relocation, another thing too, right? You might be in a certain market where you're at now, and you might be relocating for a job or something like that. Strategizing with your agent to see if there's a play there that you can make, right? To maximize that whole thing too, in a relocation situation, could also come up. So it's another, 1-2 punch type of thing to talk about.
For sure.
So
That's a great point, Mike. Location, a 1-2 punch in location. Yep.
So, well, gentlemen, thanks for joining the show today. We appreciate everyone listening to us. We'll be back with another amazing mortgage and real estate show on USHometalk.com. Again, thanks for joining us. On behalf of Jason Walgrave and Marcus Walgrave, have a great week.